Step aside Julius Caesar, move over Napoleon. Because when it comes to building an empire, nobody did it quite like Genghis Khan. The man who rose from abandoned child on the steppes of Mongolia to ruler of the largest contiguous land empire in human history. But the real story behind Genghis Khan isn't just about conquest. It's about survival, politics, brutality, and, believe it or not, innovation. Let's rewind to 1162. Temujin, later known as Genghis Khan, is born to a Mongol chieftain's family. Life seems decent at first until his father is poisoned by a rival clan. Overnight, Temujin's family goes from respected to rejected. His tribe abandons them, leaving his mother and siblings to scrape by on wild roots and small game. At one point, he was even captured and enslaved by another clan before escaping. So yeah, childhood, not great, but hardship forged him. Instead of becoming just another steppe orphan, Temujin learned early lessons in loyalty, betrayal, and revenge. Lessons he'd later apply on a global scale. Fast forward, as a young man, he began uniting scattered Mongol tribes. Not with honeyed words, but with brutal efficiency. Allies were rewarded, enemies slaughtered, and anyone resisting was either crushed or absorbed. Temujin didn't just unite Mongols, he turned them into a war machine. And in 1206, the tribes proclaimed him Genghis Khan, universal ruler. So, how do you go from nomadic horsemen to global empire? Step 1. The Mongol army. Forget knights in shining armor. These guys were mobile, fast, and terrifying. Archers who could fire with deadly accuracy while galloping full speed. Entire villages could be surrounded before they even knew what hit them. Step 2. Strategy. Genghis loved psychological warfare. Surrender peacefully? Great, you live. Resist? Expect massacres so infamous they'd echo for centuries. Whole cities surrendered just from hearing Mongol armies were on the way. It wasn't just fighting, it was fear as a weapon. Step 3. Talent over tradition. Unlike European kingdoms where birth mattered more than brains, Genghis promoted soldiers and generals based on skill. If you were loyal and capable, you could rise. This merit-based system made his forces both efficient and fiercely loyal. Astonishing? In just a few decades, the Mongols crushed kingdoms in China, Persia, Central Asia, and beyond. They destroyed the Khwarezmian Empire after its ruler stupidly killed Mongol merchants. They stormed deep into Eastern Europe, burning cities along the way. By the time Genghis died in 1227, his empire stretched from the Pacific Ocean to the Caspian Sea. But here's the twist. Genghis Khan wasn't just about destruction. He was also an empire builder. He created a legal code, the Yasa, to unify his diverse subjects. He outlawed kidnapping and theft, protected diplomats, and even allowed freedom of religion, a rarity in medieval times. And then there's trade. The Mongols reopened and protected the Silk Road, turning it into the first true superhighway of global exchange. Goods, ideas, and yes, diseases, hello Black Death, traveled across continents under Mongol watch. Historians argue that without Genghis, globalization as we know it might have taken centuries longer. So how do we judge him? On one hand, Genghis Khan was responsible for the deaths of tens of millions. Cities were leveled, populations wiped out, cultures destroyed. On the other hand, he laid foundations for global connections, governance reforms, and a meritocracy centuries ahead of its time. When he died, because still debated, anything from illness to a fall from his horse, his empire didn't die with him. His descendants expanded it even further, creating realms from China to Eastern Europe. At its height, the Mongol Empire covered nearly a quarter of the world's landmass. Genghis Khan, ruthless conqueror, brilliant strategist, visionary leader. The man who turned scattered tribes into the architects of a global empire. Love him or hate him, one fact is undeniable. The world we live in today still carries the marks of Genghis Khan.